WPIAL 5A Big East Conference football in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, as the 2-6 Gateway Gators take on the 2-6 Latrobe Wildcats. We welcome you to historic Memorial Stadium in downtown Latrobe. Adam Gusky and Vince Russo on the call for you this evening. And Vince, as we take a look at this football game, it's an opportunity for one of these two teams to make a step towards the WPIAL playoffs.
Really a win-or-go-home proposition for both of these teams tonight, Adam. The Gators need that crucial third victory in the Big East to pull even with the likes of Kiski area, who pulled the upset win over Armstrong last week. That would create one of those situations where Armstrong beat Gateway, who beat Kiski, who beat Armstrong, and creates a bit of a logjam for that third seed, and really, more than anything, keeps the Gators, even if they don't end up getting that third seed, really relevant in that conversation for the wild card.
As we take a look at last week's game, a hard-fought battle against the Woodland Hills Wolverines for the Gateway Gators, but Gateway was not able to pull the upset out over Woodland Hills, even though they had plenty of opportunities.
Yeah, amid a game where you turn the ball over 5 times, you're still leading in the fourth quarter against a team that looks primed to run the table against 5A competition in Woodland Hills. They look the part of a conference champion and a top 4 seed in 5A, and you took them toe for toe for about 3.5 quarters before things sort of fell off at the end of that game. But now, how do the Gators turn the page on that? How does Mason Mitchell turn the page on that? Looking at a Latrobe team that's really struggled to put points on the board this year, averaging 14 points a game. If you take away their one big win over the Plum Mustangs, in which they scored 42 points, that takes it down to 10 points a game. So this is an offense that, for the Gators, has been averaging close to 30 points in conference play. That's more of the same they need to see tonight, putting points on the board early and often to try and create a little bit of distance.
And those offensive struggles may be a bit of a breath of fresh air for the Gateway defense, who has certainly had their struggles keeping teams at bay, especially in half number 2.
Well, they just haven't been able to stay healthy this whole season. Craig Schultz is the latest loss for this Gators defense that has been down a few men all season long. Jackson Smith lost a considerable amount of games to injury. He's back in the lineup. We have Dylan Graham. We believe we saw him in uniform tonight. We expect to see him play. So those are all really big for the Gators, and a team that is still pretty young and has some sophomores at really key positions, even Jackson Smith, a junior himself. This is a unit that I think will continue to grow in a positive way. And tonight, getting some of those guys back, going to be a big litmus test in how they can stand up against a team that, in theory, they should be able to continue to limit. The Latrobe offense really just hasn't been able to do much this season.
Yeah, they certainly have had their struggles scoring points. And like you said, Vince, outside of that Plum game, they would be averaging 10 points per game this season. That certainly is going to be something that the Gators defense probably has to be licking their chops about heading into this football game.
Feels like this could potentially be a get-right game for the Gators leading into, while not the most consequential game against Hemphill next week, another opportunity against a 6A opponent to pad that resume. As we know, the criteria has been stripped down for that wild card. It's really up to the discretion of the committee at this point within the WPIAL. So there's no Gardner points that's going to determine it, things like that. It's really going to be who passes that sniff test. And the Gators have a chance here late in the season, 2 very winnable games, to kind of showcase what they can do. They've held in there against tough teams like Penn Trafford and Woodland Hills. Can they execute against these two teams, win some games, get to 4 wins on the season, and make that compelling case for a wild card?
One thing that we're probably going to touch on as the evening goes along, while it is a beautiful night here in Westmoreland County, it's a natural surface, something Gateway certainly is not accustomed to, while Latrobe plays all their home games on grass here at Latrobe Memorial.
You don't see that much anymore at the high school level. It's much more cost-effective for a lot of places to implement the field turf and just maintain that over time instead of the groundskeeping that goes into landscaping a grass field. And that was the first word out of my mouth when I showed up to the stadium to you is, oh, we're on grass tonight, because we haven't been out here yet. And there's something that's just so beautiful about it. We're tucked here right in downtown Latrobe. We've got some mills and some industrial buildings sort of in the peripheral. We've seen some flights come overhead going over to Arnold Palmer Airport. This is really cool. I think we're in for a really big treat tonight.
And you talk about this grass and how good it looks. Obviously, the Pittsburgh Steelers play a role in that because they have that Friday night practice here in camp when they move over from St. Vincent College to make the short trip here on the school buses.
Yeah, I mean, it looks pristine. I'm sure that they're wishing that it looked that way at Acrisure Stadium right now.
Right.
But it really does look good tonight. It's beautiful weather. I commented to Dale Breakall, one of our cameramen, we really haven't seen a lot of rain this season. That is, knock on wood, super unaccustomed for Western Pennsylvania. We have had, by and large, some really beautiful evenings for football. A little chillier tonight, but it feels appropriate for the time of year we're in, later in October. So, again, I think for especially those that are here tonight, but even watching at home here on GatewayGatorProductions.com, it's going to be a really fun evening of football.
I agree, and the setting is just absolutely magnificent. It's real old-time football playing in downtown Latrobe. There is a stadium at the high school, but this makes it feel a little bit different, and the community comes out and supports the team. It's a very cool environment.
Yeah, a lot of clapping, a lot of support for senior night tonight. They took care of a lot of that festivities in the pregame here, and a nice crowd on hand. And again, just a beautiful night for some football here under the lights.
As we set the scene for you, near sideline are the Latrobe Wildcats. They wear the orange tops and the black bottoms, black lids. Far sideline, Gateway, they wear their road white jerseys with the black pants, black helmets.
Number 99.
And Gateway will receive to begin this football game. As Mitch Horner, 99, will kick off for Latrobe.
Talk about playing a team that hasn't scored a whole lot of points this season. You want the ball first, establish that tone, get that offense moving. Gators, again, scoring 28 points last week. If they can do that again this week, got a good shot to win.
And we are underway in Latrobe, PA, as this one will be returned by Colin Ireland. Ireland catching that one at the 40, takes about a step or two forward and goes down to the grass. And around the 41 where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Gateway Gators.
Good grab by the up man. We saw last week Woodland Hills kick it short a number of times, and so the up men for the Gators last week got a bit of a workout. This week Ireland picks up right where that left off, and Gators going to start with really great field position here, the 41-yard line.
Not much of a surprise, Latrobe keeping that away from the deep man Terrence Cole. Mitchell in the pistol. Backs over each shoulder with two receivers split to the right-hand side, one on the short side left. Gateway to the ground. It's Dan Sear. Gets to the line of scrimmage. Spun down, maybe a gain of a yard. That'll bring up 2nd down and 9.
Dan Sear, a high water mark last week, 137 yards and a score in that losing effort against Woodland Hills. But boy, did he look impressive and has only continued to build off of a strong season that Stardom saw as running back number 2 and now has really become the featured back for the Gators.
Wade Enoch on the tackle on the previous play is Mason Mitchell's going to tuck and run, pick up about a half a yard, and that's about it. Brings up 3rd and yard. Cash Akehammer on the tackle for the Latrobe Wildcats. And technically no gain, so it's still 3rd down and 9 from the 42.
We'll see. In all likelihood, Mitchell air it out here for the first time on this 3rd and long play. See who the target is.
Toss to S.J. Moorfield. He lost his footing as he tried to step forward. There was a Wildcat in his path in Ty Wisniewski, but doesn't matter because Wisniewski doesn't get the tackle. S.J. just falls to the turf, and that brings up 4th and long, and the punt unit comes on.
Unfortunate getting used to that grass surface and different feel under the cleats for these players. And Gators, turnovers, nothing really lost, but sure would have liked to have seen them move the ball a little bit before having to give it away here.
Mikelandrich punts this one away. A spinning punt takes a bounce in favor of the Gateway Gators and will continue to roll inside of the 20 and finally be downed at around the 17-yard line. So a nice punt flipping the field for Mikelandrich.
He's done a really nice job the last few weeks of getting the right spin on that ball and getting those bounces at the end. In that first half against Woodland Hills, the Gators started with the ball in Woodland Hills territory consistently, while Woodland Hills had long paths to the end zone, and a big part of that was the Gator special teams flipping the field a number of times in that first half.
Pistol formation. As Scarton, the quarterback, hands off. Nowhere to go. No gain on the play as Cochran is met at the line of scrimmage.
Wildcats coming off a tough outing last week. They had 5A frontrunner Pine Richland out here on a non-conference game, lost 43-7. Don Scarton, the aforementioned quarterback, hit Sawyer Bettina for a long touchdown pass. It was the only points for the Wildcats last week.
Scarton again in the pistol. 2nd down and 10. Scarton looking left, throwing left. One-on-one coverage, and somehow that one drops in the breadbasket to the receiver on that far side. Pulling that one in is Danny Noonan.
What a pretty ball here from Scarton. That one had some real zip on it, and just right where it needed to be for the receiver to catch that over the shoulder. And moves the Wildcats out right at midfield, and all of a sudden they're starting to move the ball here a little bit.
So 1st and 10 for Latrobe from the 50-yard line after that pass to Noonan. Shotgun for Scarton. Looks right the whole way. Going to toss it down this near right side, jump ball situation. And on the coverage for Gateway, Jaden Stammer breaks that one up as the pass was intended for Eli Meter.
I like that play design. You see the slot receiver there sort of pop out like he's going to catch a screen pass there. Andy Tatch, certainly someone they like to get the ball in his hands. Instead, the quarterback looks off of that first read, sends it deep. Why not after completing a long one just the play before?
To the ground go the Cats. Nowhere to go. As the tailback is met at the line of scrimmage, Chris Cochran. Jackson Smith in on the tackle, also on the stop for Gateway is Roberson Louis June.
Gators stood up well against the run last week, but wore down over time. We talk about a defense that's down a few key contributors on both sides of the trenches, and other players being forced to either step up or play an expanded role on both sides of the ball, and that catches up with you after 48 minutes of play.
Scarton looking right, throwing right, jump ball situation. Nice job timing that one. Stammer puts his hands up and breaks it up as it was headed to Sawyer Bettina.
Bettina, their top target offensively, someone that Latrobe's going to look at early and often. 17 receptions, 251 yards. No dice there, and the Gators look like they're going to get off the field here defensively and get that ball back in the hands of this talented offense.
Mitch Horner in the punt. No personal protectors. As the snap a little bit high, and they're going to run the fake. The pass to the near side is incomplete, intended for Chris Cochran. And that incomplete pass brings up 1st and 10 for Gateway at their own 49 on the turnover on downs.
Well, they had it drawn up well. Gators bit on the fake. Cochran was open, but maybe that's why Horner's not lining up behind center more often, because that one just sailed on him. And now it's one of those ones where you look like a genius if it pans out, and it nearly did. But now you give the Gators the ball right at midfield. This is not a situation where if you're Latrobe, you want to start chasing this game by spotting your opponent points early. We've already talked about their difficulty putting up points offensively. You want this to stay low scoring.
Mitchell looks right, throws right, pass complete. S.J. Moorfield, a Gateway first down inside of the 40 to the 39-yard line before he's spun out of bounds.
Like the play call, love the execution. Love these shorter timing routes. Get Mitchell in rhythm. Get your playmakers in rhythm. Give them some easy opportunities to get the ball in space. And make Latrobe make some plays defensively. This is a Wildcats team that gives up a lot of points defensively. So opportunities will be there for the taking, but good to get in rhythm here early.
Mitchell, shotgun. Little forward pitch, complete. Dancier gets to the line of scrimmage and is hauled down from there as Cash Ackhammer on the tackle.
That total on average is 29 points against for Latrobe on the season. Here another just quick opportunity to try to get the ball in space, but good open field tackle, and the Wildcats were able to read that, diagnose it, and stop it quickly. But I like the play call there, and I like this idea of getting Mitchell in a little bit of a rhythm. Some quick passing to get your top playmakers the ball in space.
Mitchell pressured as there's a flag down. He'll scramble to the right. Slides to the far sideline. Looked like the ball would pop loose also, but regardless,
there is flag on the play.
This one may be coming back after a penalty against the Gators near the line of scrimmage.
Anytime you see a flag come out that quickly, likely a procedural call.
Holding against Gateway.
It's going to be holding this time.
10-yard penalty. Moves the ball back.
That flag came out quick too. So maybe that was it right there. He had a little bit of a grab up top, but that flag came out just mere seconds after the ball was snapped. You don't see that super often. A lot of times it's maybe a receiver downfield or a lineman in a pass protection situation, maybe just getting a little too much, but it's usually after some considerable time in the backfield.
Little end around, and here come the Gators with room. It's Jaden Stammer down the near sideline, across the 30 to the 20, still on his feet as he's finally hauled down out of bounds at around the 13-yard line. Gators have it in the red zone on the end around to Stammer.
We've seen some misdirection and eventually getting the ball into S.J. Moorfield's hands, but you really haven't seen the reverse as a wrinkle for this Gators offense. With these incredibly talented guys on the outside that the Gators have, love the play call, love getting to the ball into someone's hands like Stammer. They've spread the wealth here early, allowed some different guys to get engaged in the offense. It's going to be a recipe for success.
Moorfield, the motion man. Another little forward pitch, this time complete to Casey Carter, the tight end. And Carter carries it inside the 10 to the 7-yard line. So a pickup of about 7 there brings up second down and 3.
Such a luxury to have a guy like Carter who always needs a couple bodies to bring him to the turf. He is so consistent at breaking tackles, getting yards after the catch. He's a quarterback's best friend for sure.
Mitchell pulls it out of the belly of Dancier, scrambles to the right, and he'll be met and brought down in the backfield. Good discipline there by Andy Tatch. Didn't bite on the pump and gets the sack.
Excellent job. That was well read by the Greater Latrobe defense the entire way. You saw Mitchell had some time. That was definitely a coverage sack as he rolled out, tried to keep his eyes downfield, but credit to the Wildcats. They had everything covered and secured and forced Mitchell to just sort of eat that and live for third down.
Third down and 7 after the loss of 4 on the sack by Tatch. Moorfield, the motion man from left to right. Straight drop back Mitchell. Little hitch. Then he'll toss wide open at the goal line and backpedaling into the end zone for a Gateway touchdown is Jaden Stammer. So he had the big play on the end around and now catches the TD.
Again, Mitchell, all kinds of time there. Allowed that play to develop, and you'll see Stammer start out in the middle of your screen there and then just sort of break toward that front pylon. Good awareness to already be in the end zone catching that ball. And Gators strike first.
Mikalandrich, PAT, up and good. 4:47 to play, first quarter. Gateway on top 7-0 as the Gators are able to take advantage of the turnover on downs by the Wildcats. They went for the fake punt. The incomplete pass set the Gators up 1st and 10 at the 49. They moved the ball into Cats territory, got pushed back on a holding penalty, but that end around turned the tides.
Certainly did, and big chunk plays you would think would be there tonight for a Gators team that has the horses in the stable to make those sorts of things happen, and a defense it's been hard-pressed to get stops this season for Greater Latrobe. And right according to plan, you shake off a little adversity in the early going, a 3-and-out. Get used to playing here on the natural grass. Take a couple lumps here on that second drive, but continue to shake it off, move the ball forward. And yeah, like you said, Adam, it was a 3rd-and-long situation, and pass protection was excellent and gave Mitchell all the time he needed. As we take one more look, what could have been, how close it was. You know, game of inches, I call it, and that time, not too many of them separated that ball from the intended receiver. Could have been a big play there for Greater Latrobe. Now they've got to shake the bad taste out of their mouths and try to move the ball offensively here.
Mikulandrich to kick off, the freshman. One of the 2 goalkeepers on the Gateway soccer team is Mikulandrich. Booms this one away. It'll carry down to around the 5-yard line. On that end-over-end kick on the return is Butina for Latrobe, and he's brought down at around the 20. There's a flag near the 25-yard line. So the official will have to iron this one out after the tackle was made by Tyree Gowder.
I didn't really get a good eye at. You see the flag is sort of down on that 25-yard line, not far from where the play ended. Not sure if it was a block in the back or a hold.
Holding on the return against the Wildcats.
So there were actually 2 holding penalties against Latrobe. So Gateway obviously had to decline one. The other one will be accepted.
15-yard line, that is. 1st and 10 Cats.
That pushes the ball back to around the 16, where it's 1st and 10 for Greater Latrobe. As that pass into the right flat complete. Nice job pulling that one in. Andy Tatch.
Stopped by 11, Tristan Houston.
That was a
Pickup of a handful.
incredibly tough catch. Tristan Houston had that read perfectly, broke on the ball, and good job by Dom Scarton being able to just sort of zip that one in there, and for Tatch to be able to get his hands on it and rip it away from Houston, who again was right in there.
Scarton sends a man in motion from left to right in the shotgun with a sidecar to his left. Has a little bit of time there and throws to the back out of the backfield. Sharp pass there is hauled in. Cash Ackhammer as the tackle is made by Jackson Smith.
Latrobe going right back to the well. What worked on that last drive, being able to move the ball in chunks with the passing game. That time starting plenty of time. See if the Gators can start to get some pressure in this one. Talked about having guys like Dylan Graham back. What kind of difference could that make for this pass rush?
Ackhammer, the ball carrier, running left, picks up just about 2 before he's driven back.
Brought down by Jackson Smith, number 10.
Monte Lemon, amongst others, in on the tackle. Jackson Smith also in there on the stop for Gateway.
Ackhammer picks up 2 yards.
Nice tandem tackle between Lemon and Jackson Smith.
Yeah, he just continues to impress week in, week out. Both of those guys. And Latrobe trying to keep the Gators honest here by mixing in a little bit of run, but it has been tough sledding, trying to move the ball on the ground.
Ackhammer again, the ball carrier. Just a gain of about 2 there before Sena Ekbadze makes the tackle.
Wins on 1st and 2nd down. You see Ekbadze just getting hands all over the ball carrier and then waiting for some of his teammates to come in and help clean that up like Lemon. Now you got yourself in a 3rd and medium situation, very likely a passing down. Try to get a pass rush here and speed Scarton up a little bit.
Screen pass set up, and Gateway had as much of an opportunity as anybody to get to that one as Michael Burrows makes the tackle.
Wildcats select the punt.
1 first down. Get the stop, get the offense back on the field, and now an opportunity to start to build a little bit of distance in this one. We talked about in pregame. You really feel like if the Gators are going to bounce back and get a really big pivotal win here in conference play, that they would much rather this be a high-scoring affair than a ground and pound kind of game.
So 4th down, the punt unit on. Horner bangs this one away, as it'll be fair caught by Gateway right around the 20-yard line by S.J. Moorfield.
Moorfield, he didn't hear the whistle after the fair catch, so he thought, well, maybe they didn't catch that. And took off for a second, but to no avail. Gators not quite as strong a field position as the last time when they got the turnover and down. Started around midfield. It'll be a longer road to go this time. Boy, if they can sprinkle in the run and pass and keep the ball in the myriad of playmakers' hands that the Gators have at their disposal, I expect a similar result on this drive.
1st and 10 Gators.
Mitchell in the pistol, Dancier behind him. 2 receivers split to either side as Dancier motions to an empty set. Mitchell tosses wide open. Again, it's Jaden Stammer. He's off to the races, 40, to the 30, still on his feet, 20, 15, 10, 5, end zone, touchdown Gateway. A 78-yard TD.
Jaden Stammer.
That was quick, right across the middle. Stammer, no one around him. Great ball by Mitchell.
Mason Mitchell to.
That's what you'll love to see. The Gators coming out taking care of business here early. Just a quick pitch and catch. Hits the receiver right there in stride, and Stammer, foot race there. Turned it on against Tash, who looked like for a second going to catch him, but then gave up pretty quickly once he saw Stammer turn on the Jets.
Mikalandrich PAT is up and in. 1:49 to play first quarter. Gateway on top, 14-0 on the Latrobe Wildcats. Vince, I'll tell you what, Jaden Stammer, definitely the player of the quarter thus far.
Long end around, the catalyst on that first touchdown drive, and then doing it all himself there on the second. One play, close to 80 yards. Pitch and catch between Mitchell and Stammer, and Gators have opened this one up a little bit.
So Jaden Stammer with the long end around, the first touchdown reception, then catches the second one, and this one was the big play version. Wide open was Stammer.
And he did catch that first one. That's a good catch, Adam. Almost as good as this catch by Stammer. And yeah, 2 touchdowns in the first quarter, not a bad stat line. So much attention goes to guys like Dancier and Moorfield, which is totally warranted with the production they've had this season. But that's the mark of a good quarterback and a good offense, to be able to understand that if those guys are getting the attention, that means other guys are going to have opportunities. And kudos to Stammer, who's made some splash plays throughout the season, but getting rewarded just a little bit more here late in the season in a really important game for the Gators.
Mikalandrich kickoff. This one a low one that'll bounce its way towards the goal line. Bobbled initially and then picked up by Butina. Down the near sideline, he'll come in. Excuse me, that's not Butina, that's Josiah Finch. As 2 flags fly along the near sideline. I think Gateway was guilty of a late hit out of bounds.
Number 14, Josiah Finch returns the kickoff.
That was
out to the
for the Gators, Casey Carter, and he tried so hard to not complete that tackle. He probably initiated the process just a hair too late.
That'll add 15 yards.
Unfortunate. He really tried to pull up at the last minute, and his momentum, as you'll see here on that near sideline, excuse me.
Ball will be at the 39-yard line.
Good job by the team of making something out of nothing. See, he tried, but he just couldn't keep Butina up. Started that process just a little too late. It is a good call, but it is frustrating.
Cats go to the air on first down as the pass goes to Danny Noonan on that left side. Noonan couldn't pull it in.
Latrobe just trying to get something quick here. That ball not even close by Scarton. He airmailed that one. But the Gators had that completely covered up.
Ty Wisniewski in at quarterback for the Latrobe Wildcats. Sidecar to his left-hand side as there's a bunch formation on the right of the formation. Wisniewski running the option to the left, and he'll tuck and run, and the Gators all over that one. Jackson Smith also in on the stop is Wendell Hall.
See a different quarterback come in, a different look, and the Gators diagnosed that quickly, anticipated that it would very likely be some sort of run play.
Gain of 2 brings up a 3rd and 7 from the Wildcats.
Can't overstate enough how strong this Gators defense in the early going has been against the run here. Latrobe averaging got to be less than 2.5 yards on the rush plays thus far. That's
Scarton, quarterback this time, pumps as he's pressured. He's hit, wrapped, and he'll be brought down in the backfield. They'll say he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Kind of a generous spot there, but the Gators were all over that one, led by Roberson Louis June.
Nice convergence there. Yeah, Louis June getting everything started. And then that's one thing, even though this season up to this point hasn't necessarily gone the way the Gators and their fans maybe would have hoped sitting here at 2-6, but that defense hangs in there. And they gang tackle, and they're getting rewarded for it thus far tonight because they have been just unstoppable.
Another nice punt by Horner, but this one does not take a hop in favor of the Wildcats and will jump in favor of the Gators and then roll to the near boundary where it's finally downed by Alex Smith, and Gateway with decent field position at the 36.
And feels like an incredibly pivotal drive, even as we look at the last 10 seconds of this opening quarter. You know, Latrobe averaging less than 14 points a game. They've already allowed that to the Gators. Another touchdown drive here makes life really, really difficult for the home team here. If I'm the Gators, I just keep passing the ball. They have been unstoppable through the air up to this point.
Carter, the motion man from left to right. Mitchell tosses right, intercepted. It's Danny Noonan inside of the 25 to the 15, and he'll take it into the end zone on senior day. Noonan with the TD.
Last week we saw Mitchell do such a great job going through his reads, patient with the ball, even amidst a tough 5-interception performance that time. One read all the way. They read his eyes perfectly, did Noonan, and there was a host of cats in the area there, and that one was dead to rights, threw it into triple coverage, and now we're going to have some sort of, they will get the flag. I thought maybe there was a timeout in time, but Gators, how many times have we seen that this season, just not having 11 guys out and ready for a special teams play, and that's going to cost them here. And if you're Latrobe, do you take that extra yard and maybe keep the offense on the field, or do you just line it back up and kick it again? Looks like they're going to go with the latter.
Number 99, Mitchell Horner, to attempt the extra point. Sawyer Bettina holding.
This time the PAT is up in for Mitch Horner. 1/4 of the books. Gateway 14, Latrobe 7. 3 touchdown passes today for Gateway's Mason Mitchell. The problem is one of them was to Latrobe.
And that changes the complexion of this game, at least for the moment. The Gators, the good news is they'll get a chance to get right back in the saddle and try and respond here. But you have all the momentum in the world. You're at 14-0, and you spot 7 points to a team that really struggles to score the football, and that's one of those unforced errors that has really stymied the Gators in terms of a few of these games this season where the margin for error has been so thin. Some of these games that they have fallen toward the end, Woodland Hills, Penn Trafford, looking at that Armstrong game, that 1-point loss at home, and these little mistakes, they add up, especially in a 14-0 game at that moment where you really felt like you had a chance to go for a pretty early kill shot, go up 21-0. Instead, your offense produces points for the wrong team, and we got ourselves a ball game here again.
And 13, Niger Davis, kicking off for the Wildcats.
So Horner will kick off. Gateway with Nazir Diggs and T. Cole back on the return. This time they'll go deep, kick it to Cole, catches it on the run at the 8. Picks up a block. Cole still on his feet as he caroms off of a Latrobe Wildcat. Out across the 40 to the 41-yard line. Nice return by Terrence Cole, and you can see why they kicked away from him in the opening kickoff.
He's got that low center of gravity to boot with all kinds of speed. And you see here, that little push isn't going to do it on a guy like Terrence Cole. You got to wrap him up, bring him down. Great job even bouncing off of tackles here along the sideline. He is so incredibly tough to bring down.
First and 10 for the Gators. Ball at the 41-yard line. Mitchell, pistol, sends Carter in motion from left to right. Play action. Toss through the hands of S.J. Moorfield, and what an effort trying to dive and catch that tipped pass by Clayton Burkett.
He certainly did hang up there for just a moment. That one a little tall for Moorfield, who's not the tallest receiver. Although for much of the season, he's been the leading receiver in 5A. That's the first real look they've given to getting the ball in his hands. Just a little overthrown.
A bobbled snap there by Mason Mitchell, and he lost the football. And Gateway with a turnover. Mitchell coughs up the ball. The Wildcats recover it right near midfield. Mitchell never really had a good handle on this ball and was indecisive on what to do with it. And then it gets popped loose by Aaron Gasky.
Talk about 2 turnovers in less than 40 seconds of gameplay. And if the last one changed the complexion of this game, this one dramatically alters it. As now the Wildcats have the ball at midfield after another unforced error on the Gators there. Mitchell just, again, he was overthinking it, trying to do too much, bobbled it, put it on the turf.
Tatch quarterback this time as he runs to the left. And the Wildcat for the Wildcats picks up 2 as Jackson Smith makes the tackle at the 50-yard line.
Tatch almost got away from that tackle too. Really made Smith work to bring him to the turf.
Now it's Wisniewski, the quarterback, the 5'8 junior. We saw him run the option earlier, as there have been 3 different quarterbacks take snaps thus far. Wisniewski tucks and runs, and he'll be hauled down. Wendell Hall.
Yeah, Hall. Not often you see a tackler stop the momentum of a running back from behind. Take a look how he gets off of the block here, just puts his heels down and just almost suplexes the ball carrier Wisniewski. That is a physical tackle by Hall.
6'4", 190 versus 5'8", 165. All about physics in that one.
Can't teach that.
3rd and a handful. To the ground go the Wildcats. Cochran met after a gain of a couple to the 45 and then driven back. That'll bring up 4th down for the Wildcats.
Decision-making time. Ball on the plus side of the field. Not surprising that you're going to see Latrobe under Tom McIntyre keep this offense on the field here, trying to steal momentum away from the Gators after these turnovers.
Scarton, the quarterback, on 4th and 3. Sidecar to his right. Play action, toss, incomplete. Pressure applied by Monte Lemon, and on the coverage, Jackson Smith.
Great play by Smith out there on an island in the middle of the field against the receiver. Does a good job not getting in there too early, not getting hands or contact on the back of the receiver. Gets that one hand out in front, makes that a really difficult catch. And the Gators are able to avoid disaster there after a 2nd turnover. And now this is one of those moments where you take a deep breath. You got a lot of things that are working for you. Let's slow things down here, get back to the basics. Set up some plays where you can get it into your playmakers' hands here and give them opportunities for yards after the catch. And that has been the secret sauce here in the early going that's led to 14 points for the Gators.
Gateway 2 turnovers, Latrobe 2 turnovers on downs. Mitchell looking for a house call. Bobbled and dropped. Jaden Stammer. And that incomplete pass brings up 2nd down 10.
That close, I love coming out, airing it out on 1st down. Stammer had a step, and that one just bounces off the mitts, and then a good recovery there by the DB for Latrobe, Danny Noonan. Making sure that Stammer wasn't able to get his head around and come back to that ball.
Penalty against Gateway. I didn't see a flag. So a sideline interference against the Gators is going to push them back 15 yards. And flag was way over on the far sideline, obviously.
15-yard penalty.
You can actually see it happen right at the top of the screen near the 25-yard line. And so it's 2nd and 25, and an incomplete pass there as Mitchell tosses it forward to Dan Sear. Dan Sear couldn't hang on, and that brings up 3rd down.
Gators getting themselves in what they didn't want to be in.
In 25 for Gateway.
Got the guys to try and complete a long pass here. Mitchell's had enough time.
Mitchell throws, complete, hook and ladder. Stammer pitches it back. Dan Sear close to the 1st down marker. 4th and manageable too.
Number 5, Julian
Pick up a
Sear.
23 on that play.
Number 4, Sergeant.
That is a fun play design. We have not seen that from the Gators yet this year. Kept that one in the back pocket until this precise moment. Now brings up, as you said, Adam, at 4th and very manageable. Love the call here of keeping this offense on the field. Our defense has been making plays. I wouldn't worry about this ball at midfield at all. Let's go for it.
Carter the motion man. Dan Sear motions out of the formation. Option. Pitch. Dan Sear. 1st down. Much more as he's brought down approaching the 30-yard line.
Option left to number 5, Julian Dan Sear.
Mitchell, a lot of times this season you've seen that pitch go a little forward there. Almost, I think that might cataloged as a pass at that point.
I concur with you, but the good thing is that the Gators' offensive line was flowing left. They didn't go down the field, so even if it is a forward pass, there's nobody illegal downfield.
100%. I mean, it's a great play call. It's a great job by Mitchell holding onto that ball until the last moment, getting defensive players to commit to him, and opening that space for Dan Sear, who was able to make people miss in open space.
1st and 10 for the Gators with the ball approaching the 30. Gateway conventional to the ground this time. Dan Sear up the middle.
Gators certainly weren't able to move the ball in chunks on the ground last week against Woodland Hills. Talked about Dan Sear's stat line, over 130 yards and a touchdown. He has gotten better and better and has looked a lot more comfortable and confident as this season has gone on.
2nd and a half dozen for the Gators. The ball at the 28. Dan Sear straight up the gut, gaping hole inside of the 15, brought down inside of the 10-yard line as the tackle is made by Andy Tatch.
What a response here by the Gators. You turn the ball over twice. What do you do here? Do you go into a hole? Do you get timid? No, you keep taking shots, keep drawing up a hook and ladder and a forward pitch, and now just no bones about it. Lining up, giving it to your featured back, and letting him go to work.
1st and goal from the 8 as Gateway is back in the red zone. This time Dan Sear nowhere to go as he's met at the line of scrimmage. Nice tackle by Izzy McMahon.
Brought down by 7, Izzy McMahon.
See if they go to a similar play. The last time they were in the red zone, getting some players across the field in the end zone. They were able to hit Stammer toward that front pylon on 3rd and long on that second offensive possession for the Gators.
2nd and goal from the 8. Mitchell, little jump pass, complete. Dan Sear approaches the goal line. And they're going to say he's down around the 2-yard line.
Touchdown saving tackle by Cash.
That'll work. You effectively have 2 opportunities here to gain, looks like about 3 yards. So you trust your offense, trust your line. You're doing a good job creating some holes for Dancier in the early going.
Nice tackle by Cash Akehammer for Latrobe. Gain of 5, 3rd down 3 for Gateway as Mitchell's going to step under center. Carter motions to the right. S.J. Moorfield. Oh, trickeration there as they were trying to find offensive lineman Kane and Bandy. The pass incomplete brings up 4th down and goal from the 3. So we take another look at this one.
Incomplete brings up a 4th and goal from the 3-yard line.
Who was it we saw a few weeks ago end up with the ball in their hands off the jump? That was Roberson Louis June, and he looked more than comfortable toting the rock. So I thought, well, why not get into the hands of another one of our big fellas and let him go the distance from 3 yards out.
Yeah, that was on that fake punt. That worked out well for the Gators. So timeout time here for Don Hall and the Gateway Gators. 4th and goal from the 3, a 7-point lead here. Obviously, the motivation here, extend the lead to 14 points again. But on the same token, Jackson Michelandrich, this is well within his range.
This is one of those games where you're looking to make a statement. You're looking to create some separation here in the first half, start to sow those seeds of doubt against a Latrobe team that has struggled this season, also 2-6. I think this might be that hook and ladder we saw. It is. Great play design, Stammer wide open, and then easy little pitch and catch there to Dancier, who lowers the shoulder and is able to get the Gators into a position where he could tote the rock later on that drive. And now the Gators, can they punctuate this drive? Can they regain that momentum? They've done such good work to get it to this point. Gotta get some points here.
Moorfield motions into the backfield. 2 backs back there. Dancier, gaping hole into the end zone. Gateway touchdown. There wasn't an orange jersey in sight.
Dancier, a 2nd straight week, dancing into the end zone. You said it. Nobody had a chance at him. Great play call, great execution by the offensive line, and that made Dancier's job incredibly easy en route to the end zone.
Michelandrich on to attempt the PAT out of the hold of Mitchell, and that PAT is up and good. Now there's a flag down along the near sideline.
And the Gators weren't set. That's going to make this one just that much harder here for Jackson Michelandrich.
Well, if it repeats the same kick he had moments ago, that one was long enough by far. So give the kid another opportunity here. The freshman, talked about him being one of the 2 goalkeepers on the Gateway soccer team. He recently wrapped up their season. Bad snap here, went high. Michelandrich didn't even have a chance to kick it as Mason Mitchell couldn't get the hold down. And it's 20-7. And that penalty comes back to bite Gateway.
Sure does. And it's just another one of those instances where you do so many things right to reclaim the momentum in this game, only to give a little bit of it back at the end and to leave with a little bit of a sour taste in your mouth. Certainly, they got 6. That's a big plus against a team that struggles to score offensively.
It was a great drive for Gateway, hook and lateral, where Dancier took the pitch, picked up nearly 1st down yardage, then picks up a 1st down, and then he caps off the drive with the 3-yard touchdown run. So we've seen Stammer and now Dancier with big drives for Gateway.
This is certainly an opportunity tonight to have that get-right game in all 3 phases.
Back for the Cats, 14.
See that Gators offense get into a bit of a rhythm heading into another winnable game against Hempfield next week, and then you hope that you're in a position where you can be in the dance. And we've seen the Gators play tough against the toughest teams in the conference.
End over end kick for Mikulandrich, caught on the run at around the 9-yard line. Finch with an opportunity for a decent return as Wendell Hall will make the tackle. Across the 30 to the 33 went Finch.
You always hold your breath a little bit when it comes in on a rope and the return man's able to catch it in stride. It just makes them that much harder to bring down when they're coming with a full head of steam there. The Gators did a good job staying in their lanes, converging on the ball, not allowing that return man to get out to the sideline or to get anywhere where he really had an opportunity to bust that one open.
You know, Vince, that's a situation where the ball gets there so quickly, you're quite literally out-kicking the coverage without that hang time on the kick. As to the ground go the Latrobe Wildcats. Running left is Chris Cochran, S.J. Moorfield there on the tackle for Gateway.
Brought down by number 3.
And luckily the Gators have the athleticism, speed, and the coaching to get down there and still cover that one, and then follow up with another strong performance against the run, limiting Latrobe to gains of 1, 2, 3 yards, and it's not sustainable. It's not something they're going to be able to continue to go to down a couple scores here as this clock continues to wind.
Scarton, hands off. Ball carrier is Cochran. Cochran gets to the first down marker. And it's 1st and 10 for Latrobe at the 43.
Cochran, another back wearing number 5, who has largely been a reserve this season, much like his counterpart, Julian Dancier, but he's had his moments as well. Ran for 133 yards and a touchdown as the featured back against Franklin Regional. A.J. Yeboah, normally the starting back. Cochran, a nice run there.
Cochran with another nice run, running to the right side, close to the first down marker before the tackle's made by Monte Lemon, the 6-foot senior.
Latrobe's starting to get a little bit of a push here. We talked about last week. Gators defense down a few players, got more players playing both ways than I think they're used to. So you start to see some fatigue as we get closer to halftime.
5 minutes to go here in the first half. 2nd down and 2 after the gain of 8 for the Wildcats. Play action. No, it's going to be handed off to Cash Acamer. Acamer is off to the races and will take it to the house for her 49-yard Latrobe touchdown.
Caught a little bit of daylight and was able to turn on the Jets there and had just enough speed to outrun that Gator secondary. Not an easy task. Impressive run and a good job by some of those linemen getting to the second level of the defense. And see Ian Woods there, just not enough in the tank to be able to bring down the ball carrier, and now back to a 1-score game.
PAT is up and in for Mitch Horner, and it's a 6-point game.
Well, a shootout certainly still benefits the Gators, I think, in terms of the options they have offensively, the talent they have, but certainly disappointing to see that gash after how well this run defense had played early in this contest. That time. Take another look. Just a quick sidestep.
Yeah, it was Cochran a couple of times and then the big run for Acamer.
Number 99,
good balance. Good job by Latrobe shaking off some of these early mistakes on their end and finding a way to stick around in this game. There's still a lot of time here left in this first half as we take one more look at that long touchdown run. It looked like maybe if Ian Woods dives a few yards earlier, maybe 10 yards earlier, you might be able to bring down that ball carrier. But that's easier said than done when you're in that moment running full tilt down the middle of the field.
This one popped high. A nice job by Carter to get there for Gateways. Warner popped that one up, and Casey Carter had to race over and get to that one, sliding down at around the 36.
It was a real hands team effort there. That one hung up there forever. And if Carter doesn't catch that on the initial jump, that one's loose, and there are a number of orange jerseys in that vicinity. So I echo that sentiment. That's an incredibly heady play by the upperclassman to be able to make sure he comes down with that one and stops the bleeding here as Latrobe got a little bit of that momentum back, but this is a Gators offense that has continued to move the ball.
Mitchell going to hand off. Dan Sear crossing the 35 to the 36-yard line. Gain of about 3 on that play, brings up 2nd down and 7 as the tackle made by Dom Engalicchio.
Gators don't have to be in any sort of rush here. If anything, you might want to try and use this clock a little bit, try to be the last team to touch it. Some points. Latrobe will get the ball first to start the second half.
2nd and 7. Mitchell to the air, throws left. It's Stammer. Little stutter step as he approaches the 40. Then he'll get hauled down late, and a penalty against the Latrobe Wildcats as Andy Tatch, with a little extra effort after the play had ended.
That's just one of those things you gotta be aware of the situation. You already got the player going backwards. There's just no need to do that. You've stopped the runner in their tracks. That was a net positive. You give Gateway an extra 15 yards for an offense that's already humming along here.
So 15 yards from the end of the play, and the end of the play was approaching that 40-yard line, so the ball gets moved into Wildcats territory to the 46.
I think the other thing you see there is Stammer clearly lets up at the end of that play. He has created a situation where he's a defensive player. He has surrendered his momentum in the understanding the play is over, and for Tatch to pick him up off his cleats at that point is gratuitous. I mean, there's no really other word for it than that. You made the stop. Let it be that.
And the whistle was very audible. Certainly we were able to pick it up here, up near the press box. You know they were hearing it down on the field.
Well, I mean, case in point, that's why you see Jaden Stammer. You watch here, a great shot by our crew. Right here, you see he just stops. He knows the play is over, and at that point, that's when players get hurt. So a good call by the officials, and a break for the Gators here, who now have it in plus territory again. Chance to try and pad this lead a little bit before giving the ball back to Latrobe to start the second half.
I want to thank Athletic Director Tyler Gustafson here at Latrobe High School, helping us with our accommodations here at Latrobe Memorial Stadium. Far from the newest facility in the WPIAL, but more than sufficient. And they're able to provide us with power and internet. That's all we need. And some space. We make the rest happen. 1st and 10. Play action. Complete again. Stammer is on a different level catching the football tonight for Gateway as he's brought down inside of the 30 to the 29.
He's getting these same targets early and often that fans watching this might have saw with Jamar Chase last night. It felt like every single play they were going to that well. And boy, I don't blame him here. Stammer's getting separation. He's coming down with the ball. He's got some nice yards after the catch. And he has really been impressive here in this first half.
First and 10. Mitchell looking left, steps away for some pressure. He'll toss to the left-hand side as there's a flag down. The pass intended for S.J. Moorfield is incomplete. Caden Bandy is going to be called for a hold here. That's going to push the Gators back 10 yards.
And he certainly was protesting that as he got up. We'll see if he has any case here on the left side of the line there on your screen. And certainly a good job selling it, but that's a pretty easy call. He gets up, grabs around the shoulder there, turns the player around. Looks like that was number 24 for Latrobe in on the rush. Aaron Gasky.
That moves the ball back 10, 1st and 20. Ball now at the 39. Clock stopped here just under 3 minutes ago. Mitchell off of play action. And there was some contact there. No flag flies as the pass was intended for Nazir Diggs. And it certainly looked like there was a collision between Diggs and the DB before the ball got there.
Clayton Burkett made such a nice break on the ball there that at that point he's got every right to try and come down with that ball. He actually beats the receiver Diggs to the pass.
Yeah, good eye by you. Taking a look at that the second time, it did look like Burkett had a beat on the football, had actually contacted the football before the collision between he and Diggs. So it's 2nd and 20 from the 39. Wide open, pass caught. Tyree Gowder near the first down marker. And it will be a Gators first down at the 18. The Gators needed 20. They got 21.
Gowder has been such a great downfield threat. Seems like the majority of his receptions are coming in traffic, down the field. That time, no different. A really nice grab.
Little shovel pass again for Dancier, and this time the Wildcats are all over that one. Is in the backfield for the Wildcats is Wade Enoch.
He's gone to the well a few times on that. Dancier, more often than not, able to make that first man miss, but Enoch, a really nice job getting hands around Dancier and dragging him down, using that size advantage. Make sure that he didn't slip away.
Loss of 2, 2nd and a dozen. Mitchell throws left, pass complete. S.J. Moorfield slides down. They say his knee comes down at the 9, a yard shy of the line to gain.
Knee touches down.
Well, let's see. They certainly had a better look at it than we do up here. Nope.
No.
He's not down.
Not even close.
No, that's a bad call. That is a bad call. That likely would have been 6 there, too, for the Gators. That is a big call.
So 3rd and 1 for Gateway. Mitchell with Bates to his left. Bates takes the carry, gets the Gateway first down.
That's the other sort of, not only did they not score a touchdown, but it created a 3rd down situation that they really shouldn't have been in. But Bates, who had 2 carries and took both of them across the goal line in tough physical situations, 2 carries, 5 yards, 2 touchdowns, able to make things happen again there when he's called upon.
Clock winding, under a minute to play here. Play action. Mitchell looks right. Complete. Gateway touchdown to Tyree Gowder.
And after a tough week last week, you see Mason Mitchell able to shake off the 1 pick 6 earlier in this game, and that was 3 first-half touchdowns. You still have to pinch yourself and remind yourself this guy is a freshman.
Speaking of freshmen, the freshman Holder Mitchell and the freshman kicker Mikalandrich combined for the PAT. And 48 seconds to go here in the second quarter. Gateway has reclaimed a 2-score advantage.
There's a lot of those younger players on this roster that really get you excited about the future of Gators football. And you look at a team that sure is 2-6 on the season, but hung in there against the likes of Penn Trafford and Woodland Hills, looked every bit the part of a team that could win those games. Certainly you'd like to have that Armstrong game back. There's certainly moments in this season where this Gators record could look a lot different, and they're still very much in this playoff conversation. A win tonight does wonders for that.
9-4-1. Once again, the winning number 764-941.
48 seconds remain here in the second quarter as Mikalandrich will kick off for the visiting Gateway Gators, looking for their 3rd victory of the season, and more importantly, their 3rd victory in Big East Conference play. This kick a little short, and it is muffed initially by Finch. Now he'll scoop it up, and the Gators swallow him up as he approaches the 20-yard line.
Kick coverage unit's been excellent tonight. Again, this is one of those opportunities where maybe you over-pursue or you don't break down quick enough, but no, you take a look here. He met before, so I think it was Casey Carter. He's hard enough to bring down when he has the ball, but then seeing him come at you on the other end, that is not a welcome sight. Carter, very physical player that time, making a big play on special teams, and now with only 40 seconds left, it is a long field now for this Wildcats offense.
A couple of subs in on that D-line for Gateway, Dylan Graham and Julius Clark. And mentioned Dylan Graham, and he makes the tackle on that play as the draw to Chris Cochran. Stopped after a few-yard gain.
Graham been battling a shoulder injury for much of the season. You see him able to get off the block quickly there, keep contained, forces the runner inside, then able to wrap him up, bring him down to the turf for a very nominal gain. That's a really nice play. We talked about the Gators looking for that third conference win, and continuing to contextualize that. That third win pulls them even with teams like Armstrong, Kiski area, creates a three-way tie that then has to be sorted out via tiebreaker metrics. This is the last conference game for the Gators, so their work will be done. And really, they just got to sit and wait and see what happens around the rest of the league. Armstrong's got Penn Trafford tonight. That's going to be an uphill battle for the Riverhawks. So there's still a lot of things in play here. The Gators might not have to bank on a wild card. It's still very much in play for that third seed.
27, Dante Duragon in the backfield for the Cats.
Scarton, the QB, end around, coming from right to left. The ball carrier Tatch cuts it back inside, and he pays the price. There's a host of Gators there with heavy contact.
Knocked out of bounds by Sean Moorfield, number 3.
And they'll say that the runner got out of bounds.
Yeah.
Passes gain.
I don't know. That might have been a
know about that
little
either.
home cooking there. It looked like that elbow came down. Nice, another nice shot by our crew. And actually, they will mark him in down. This clock is running.
Yeah, they stopped the clock for the first down. And then, because Tachi was along the near sideline, S.J. Moorfield was there. He slid out of that tackle, and then, like I said, he got popped. Counter coming to the near side left, an old-fashioned counter. And the Gators sniffed that one out. And a late whistle there, or excuse me, a whistle there stops the play. Michael Burrows had ripped it away, but that'll be the final play of the second quarter as the Gateway Gators take a 13-point lead into the locker room over the Latrobe Wildcats. Well, Vince, this is certainly the way the Gators wanted to get things going here in the first 24 minutes of football.
Wasn't without its hiccups, but by and large, the Gators come out and set the tone offensively. They air the ball out early and often, sprinkle in Dan Sear, who with that balance has had some real running room, and they look sharp. And this is the recipe for the Gators. You're playing a team that struggles to move the ball efficiently and quickly, so the more you can get them out of the comfort zone of trying to run the ball and speed them up, make them one-dimensional, have to throw the ball. That's that secondary that's a real strength for the Gators. Pin their ears back, try to play ball hawk. This is right where the Gators want things going into the halftime break. This has really been a good first half for the Gators. And
you've got to really talk about the way the Gators have seen played tonight by Jaden Stammer. What a game he's having.
Yeah, by far and away the MVP at the half. 2 touchdowns, big-time plays, really took the lid off of this game with that big end around, gave that jolt of life to the Gators offense, then able to punctuate those 2 big drives to get them their first 14 points. They're clicking. Things are really moving along for this offense. It's fun to watch.
And Dan Sear running the ball very well.
He is, picking up right where he left off last week. It's so exciting to know he's going to be back next year in this backfield with a full offseason as sort of that bell cow guy, because he is really, you've just seen the confidence grow over the course of the season with the ball in his hands. And going from the backup week 0 to where he's at now, such incredible growth for the young man. You're really excited to see that.
Talk about Stammer. There's that big touchdown for Jaden Stammer. Well, we're going to step away here at halftime, and when we come back, we'll get you set for half number 2. Enjoy the marching bands here at Latrobe Memorial Stadium. Again, your halftime score, Gateway 27, Latrobe 14. You're tuned in to GatewayGatorProductions.com. Halftime winding down here at Latrobe Memorial Stadium. Adam Gusky, Vince Russo on the call for you here on GatewayGatorProductions.com. And Vince, as we review that first half yet again, I was just so incredibly impressed with not just the way the Gateway offense was able to put points on the board, but the Gateway defense, with the exception of one big play, has really kept the Wildcats in check.
Yeah, let up a couple streaky pass plays early, but have been incredibly stout against the run, other than that one big broken run here that you see by the talented ball carrier, number 2 for Latrobe, Cash
A-Cammer.
Sorry, and my goodness, they have been winning battles at the line of scrimmage. See here offensively, they've had guys open in space all night. Mason Mitchell has done a great job getting that ball where it needs to go, getting it out of his hands quickly, and just letting these playmakers go to work. And you see right there, getting back into rhythm is Jaden Stammer. Tyree Gowder there to his left. Both have come down with touchdown reception. Stammer with a pair. And they are ready to continue to run wild here in the second half. Latrobe, see what kind of adjustments they've made, because they had no answers for this Gators offense.
Next week for Gateway at Hempfield. So another trip to Westmoreland County, and this one a game out of classification. On Friday, October 24th, Spencer Witt and Nathan Breisinger, the Baldwin boys, will be on the call for that one in Westmoreland County. It'll be a fun night to wrap up the regular season, and if Gateway continues on this path tonight, they take just another step closer to qualifying for the postseason after missing the playoffs last year.
This is one they've got to have as you take a look at some of your viewing pleasure coming up here on GatewayGatorProductions.com. Hard to believe we're already starting to think about basketball. You were texting me the other day, hey, you good on the 23rd? I am, and I'm looking forward to that. It's always fun to turn the page to winter sports, but we're not done with the fall just yet. And as you said, Adam, a win tonight for the Gators really puts them back in that conversation in a meaningful way.
Second half is underway as Mikulandrich kicks this one to the 10-yard line along the far boundary. And knifing in there, making the tackle for Gateway, is Ian Woods.
I'll tell you the other thing that would be really nice here in this second half for the Gators is to see them come out and really take this game by the horns and put it to bed here early in this second half. It feels like it's been a minute since we've seen that sort of complete and dominant effort from the Gators, even in their few wins this year. They had to sort of buckle down and hang on against Franklin Regional and Kiski area. They got the opportunity tonight with how they've played in that first half to really come out here and make a statement.
Scarton is in the pistol, looking right the whole way, throwing to that right-hand side, and the pass is too strong to that far boundary as he was looking for Tatch, and there were two Gators on the coverage.
Well covered. Would have taken a really perfect throw to get that into the receiver's hands. You see Moorfield over the top there, making it just that much harder, and Skeeton just choosing to airmail that one to keep it out of harm's way. It's really well defended by the Gators.
Second down, 10. Here early in the third quarter. Quarterback this time, Wisniewski. Yes, he'll run to the right side. And nowhere to go for Wisniewski. After he picks up a couple, the Gators are there to bring him down as he approaches the 30.
How many times have we seen this quick little speed, a little bit of pop there from Latrobe, and then Gators get their heads around and come en masse to stop that in its tracks. And again, a short gain, a third and medium to long situation. That's where Latrobe has had to operate all evening long, and that's a win for the Gators. You get a team into a must-passing situation here. More often than not, the Gators have been able to come up with big plays defensively to get off the field.
Scarton, straight drop back out of the shotgun, wide open receiver is Gasky. He gets hit hard after picking up the first down at around the 41-yard line. It's a big open field hit there for Gateway by Carlos Diggs, the 5'10 senior.
And because of that, ball carrier Gasky a little slow to get up here, hopefully just shaken up and not seriously hurting anyway as he's back up onto his feet pretty quickly. Yeah, that transition in the zone defense between Jackson Smith letting the receiver go, Diggs coming up. Good job by the quarterback, Scanton, to identify that moment where the receiver broke free, gets the ball to him quickly, able to move the chains on 3rd and medium. Let's see another look at that hit. Looked fairly innocuous from the replay and from our vantage point, even in real time. But Diggs, a FCS recruit, going to go to Maine.
Number 2, Cass Akehammer.
Beautiful campus up there, the Black Bears. As to the ground go the Wildcats, and Akehammer, who had the touchdown in the first half, tried to slide out of a tackle there, but Gateway's Michael Burrows makes sure that he has nowhere to go and a loss of 2.
He's another one of those names, much like, we talk about him the way we talked about Jackson Smith last year, a sophomore who really is blossoming into a special player here even as an underclassman, and it just gets you so excited about, with both of those guys coming back next year, what this defense can continue to be. Another off season, another long winter in the weight room, and these guys are certainly a ton of fun to watch even now.
Pistol, play action. Toss to this near side right is incomplete. The intended receiver is Tash as there's a flag down. This will be against the Latrobe Wildcats, and illegal shift. And Gateway is going to decline that penalty and bring up the 3rd downing and a dozen.
I like that call. You're already behind the sticks, trying to get that much closer to getting the ball back here the first time in the second half for your offense. Gave up the conversion on 3rd and 6. Now what can the Gators do here to try and keep the lid on?
Scarton looking left, throwing left. Pass in and out of the hands of Danny Noonan. Noonan couldn't hang on to it that time. That brings up 4th and 12.
They're letting both teams play on the outside tonight. One time you see, again, a little hand on the back there by Stammer, but by and large, a pretty clean play. He gets that other right hand around in front of the arms of the receiver. Prevents the pitch and catch, and the Gators will, in fact, get this ball back here unless we see a little fake here.
We saw one of those earlier. Horner threw a pass that was just a bit too strong and ended up being incomplete as he was trying to find Cochran. This time he'll get it away, and the Gators will have a return of 0 yards, maybe actually a loss of a little bit, as S.J. Moorfield is brought down right where he caught the football as Clayton Burkett makes the tackle.
Yeah, Burkett, Johnny on the spot there, able to break down quickly, doesn't over-pursue, and then just hangs on. S.J. Moorfield tried to do everything he could to get out of that tackle and has a low center of gravity himself. You talk about Moorfield, 5'9", 180 pounds. That time, Burkett able to finish the job, and a bit longer of a field for the Gators, who have benefited from some really good field position again tonight, just as they did last week against Woodland Hills. But even when they've had a longer field, they've been able to get those chunk plays.
Gateway going up the middle on 1st down. Dan Sear surges forward out to the 20, a gain of about 2. As the tackle was made by Wade Enoch, the defensive tackle who has been involved in a heck of a lot of tackles tonight for the Latrobe Wildcats.
See if the Gators, up 2 scores here in the second half, start to just kind of play the numbers game. Try to run this ball, establish that run. Stammer had some real moments in that first half.
Mitchell's going to hand off. Nowhere to go. That one was stacked up the gut.
Hand off again to number 5, Julian
Dan Sear, rather. Excuse me, not Stammer. Stammer on the brain, Freudian slip. All the plays he made in the first half, but Dan Sear found his way into the end zone as well. One of those 4 touchdowns for the Gators has just continued to emerge as a big-time target, both in the pass and run game for this Gators offense.
And Dan Sear, he had one drive where he shone very brightly. Took the hook and lateral, picked up a big first down on 4th down, and ended up scoring the touchdown, as you said, during that drive. As Mitchell is forced to tuck and run, and just gets back to the line of scrimmage as the stop is made by Rob Young, the 6'7" senior.
Certainly looks like a man among boys. Came over from Summit Academy last year, where he was formidable not only on the field but on the hardwood as well, averaging double digits for the Knights basketball team last year. Finds himself with the opportunity to play up here 5A ball. That time makes a really nice play to get his defense off the field and get this ball back into the hands. Potentially really good field position for Latrobe.
Kick away by Mikelandrich. This will take a bounce in favor of Gateway out to the 50-yard line. Punted just about 30 yards. It'll be 1st and 10 for Latrobe at the midfield stripe. And Vince, as we talk about Rob Young, the 6'7" senior, talk about him playing at Summit Academy. Before the game today, it was senior day here at Latrobe, and he was escorted by his entire team. Every teammate escorted him through the procession, and it was a great sight. Got a big round of applause from all the fans here. A lot of people very appreciative of a young man who has straightened his life out. Akehammer running right, picking up a couple as the flag comes in late. Discussion over on that far side. And it's going to go against the Wildcats. And it's going to be holding against Latrobe. And it happened right at the line of scrimmage, so they'll move the ball back to the line of scrimmage, march off 10. And it'll be 1st and 20 from the 40.
You talk about Rob Young, you talk about a man, kind of recentering, and that's all the things that can and are often right about youth sports, even at this level in high school. Teaching those fundamentals, not only on the field, but all those applicable, transferable skills, life lessons, facing adversity, making tough decisions, being a leader on and off the field, being a part of something bigger than yourself. And it's, I saw that demonstration of the players, supporting their teammate in that way. And you played, I played. People joke, or talk about, it's a brotherhood. That might seem hollow at certain points, but it's legitimate. The relationships you foster and the skills and the lessons that you learn and how you carry those with you the rest of your life. It's, for these young men at such an impressionable age, it's so important.
30 years later, some of my closest friends were members of those Woodland Hills football teams back in the mid-'90s. I mean, it truly is an absolute brotherhood. As to the left side go the Wildcats. Pass complete to Meter. Meter tossed out of bounds by Stammer. Gain of about 8 on that play brings up 3rd and a dozen.
This happened close to the sideline. I think some of the Latrobe faithful wanted to see the flag come out here. That little extra at the end. It looked like it might have been sold a little bit as well by the Wildcats.
So again, it's 3rd down 12 for Latrobe. Ball 2 yards shy of the midfield stripe. Scarton looks left, throws left. Pass is complete to Meter, and Meter picks up about 6 into Gators territory to the 46. And that brings up 4th down and 6.
Well defended there by the Gators. Stammer and Michael Burrows understanding where that line to gain is, allowing the receiver to make the catch, but limiting any yards after the catch at that point. And looks like Latrobe going to keep the offense on the field here in plus territory.
Scarton and the offense do, in fact, stay on that field on 4th down and 6. And a false start by the Latrobe Wildcats is going to move them back 5 yards. That'll bring up 4th down and 11, and a change of heart for Tom McIntyre, the head coach of Greater Latrobe.
That takes the ball out of plus territory, puts it back in your end of the field. And for a team that doesn't score all that often, to lose an opportunity to go for it there is critical.
Boy, a punt that takes a big bounce in favor of Latrobe by Mitch Horner. He dropped that one down, point down, and when it hit the ground, it just absolutely sprung forward at the 18, all the way down to the 2.
I thought for a second that one was going to toe the line and stay inside the proverbial foul pole there, that pylon at the front left side of the end zone, but it dips out, like you said, Adam, around that 2-yard line, and now the Gators got to mind their P's and Q's here. So Mason Mitchell very likely be in the gun, taking this out of the end zone. Can't have a holding call. Don't want to risk a safety. Take care of the ball here.
So the cheerleaders on the far side wearing their letter jackets on a cool 53-degree day here in downtown Latrobe. Mitchell off of play action and the pump, and the pass is incomplete. Looking for Tyree Gowder.
Well covered there, just no real place to put it, so he sends that ball low. Avoid it getting picked off.
From the Gateway 3-yard line.
See if the Gators try and sprinkle in a run here just to give themselves a little breathing room.
Second down and 10. Mitchell, pitch to the left. Dancier spinning his way forward out across the 5 to the 7-yard line. So a gain of 4 on that play brings up 3rd down and 6.
Just that little bit of wiggle room here, and Dancier doing such a great job of keeping his balance and gaining that extra yard or two. Just gives Mason Mitchell and company that much more space to work with here. Still a big 3rd down here, and still it's just a 2-score game. And if you got to punt it here, you're giving Latrobe really good field position.
Carter, the motion man from right to left. Throw will go to Carter on the tight end screen. Tries to break it forward out towards the 10-yard line, and that's as far as he will get. 3 yards shy of the line to gain. It looked like that had gone to Carter. That's pretty far away from where we sit on the low angle. It was actually S.J. Moorfield who caught the ball and was forced down at the 10.
Moorfield's had a quiet night offensively for the Gators. Has not been targeted all too many times. That's just his 2nd reception. Now Gators going with a hard count. Very nearly got one of those defensive ends to jump for Latrobe, but they stay put. See if they actually decide to snap it here, or if this is just chance to run the clock down a little bit.
And Gateway does take the timeout. Vince, we were talking at halftime about, not every program has the land to do so, but you saw the kids over there by that light standard, playing around, enjoying a Friday night at the game. And, it's always been, kind of a cultural thing where the young kids, they, kind of emulate what's going out on the field, play catch football, tag football, even tackle football sometimes, somewhere in the stadium grounds.
Dreaming about the day when they can put the uniform and the helmet on and go make plays under the Friday night lights. You see that at so many stadiums across Western Pennsylvania. You see just how culturally ingrained football is to this region and how special it is.
A lot of weight on the shoulders of Jackson Michelandrich, the freshman. Catches the snap and gets away a spiraling punt that will take a bounce in favor of the Gators at the 48 and be down inside of Cats territory at the 46. A nice field flipper for Michelandrich.
Can't ask for much more than that. He's able to at least get it onto their side of the field, punting out of really his own end zone. And that was a really pretty punch. Now the Gators defense doesn't feel quite as much pressure here. They can just go to work, try to get another stop here.
.443 to play here in the 3rd quarter. Neither team has cracked the scoreboard here in the 2nd half. As to the air go the Wildcats, and the pass is incomplete. Looking for Aaron Gasky. Was Don Scarton, excuse me.
Wendell Hall bringing a bit of pressure off that backside. Force Scarton to just sort of get rid of that one and take a little contact there at the end, as you see on our replay.
2nd and 10.
First and second down have been tough sledding for this Latrobe offense. It's gotten them into a lot of precarious third down situations. The Gators get another win there on 1st down and 10.
2nd and 10, pistol formation. Scarton looking right the whole way. Has a receiver open. Pass complete to Meter. Meter breaking tackles, brought down inside the 20. And Latrobe, for the first time today, possesses the football inside the red zone.
With an opportunity to try and make this a one-score game. Nice route here. The Gators playing well off of the receiver there, Meter, who had all the space in the world to make that catch and get some real crucial yards after it. Like you said, Adam, in the red zone, a chance to try and pull back within one score here.
4 minutes on a winding clock here in the third. Scarton looking right. Pass intended for Meter, comes up short. I don't know if a Gator got a hand on it or not.
Falls incomplete. Coverage for the
See if we can get a look here on our replay of Wendell Hall. Looked like Wendell Hall did get a hand on that. So really heads-up play. He's had a strong start to this second half, and that time forces another incompletion on 1st down.
Hall at 6'4", long arms, was able to get a hand on that one to break up that pass on 1st and 10. Now 2nd and 10 at the 19. Trips on the left side of the formation for Scarton. He'll hand it off. Akehammer, the ball carrier. And he's brought down inside of the 14 to the, inside of the 15 to the 14-yard line. As Jay Moorfield on the tackle for Gateway.
It looked like for a second he was going to be able to get out toward the sidelines there and create a foot race to the pylon, but a good job by Moorfield, that open field tackle. Michael Burrows was in the backfield there and just whiffed on it by a second. It's been so good tonight, but very nearly a TFL there for the sophomore. Instead, it brings up a much more third and manageable situation here for the Wildcats.
3rd and about 4.5 here for Latrobe. Scarton off of play action, rolling left, throwing. And the pass is going to be incomplete. The Latrobe fans want a flag, but I think it was just some feet that got tangled up.
It was both players making a dash for a ball thrown to the corner of the end zone, and we'll get another look at it here.
Pass falls incomplete.
A couple different players getting tangled up on that one. That's a well-defended play by the Gators, and now decision time on 4th down. Down a couple scores. You assume Latrobe going to keep that offense out here and go for it as we take one more look, sort of a wider angle here. We got a little push here in the front of the end zone that you could have potentially seen a call on, but like I said, they've let these teams play on the outside all night.
Flags on the play.
Movement early, and it's going to be a false start against Lucas Kalenic. 6'3", 305-pound offensive tackle.
And a second straight 4th down play in which Latrobe goes backwards before even snapping the ball, just making things that much more difficult for the Wildcats here. Makes that 4th and 5, 4th and 10, puts it all the way back at the 19.
Fourth down, 10. Scarton, shotgun, looking left, throwing left. Pass complete, pulled in by Gasky. Gasky is brought down near the 1st down marker at the 10, and it will be a turnover on downs. They say the tackle is made shy of the line to gain, and for the 3rd time today, Gateway forces Latrobe to turn it over on downs.
Needed to get to the 9, and I think they came up just 1 yard short. See the reception, needs to get there to the 9, and the wider view might give us just a little bit better of an angle on it, but the official was right there on the left side of your screen. You see he gets down there right at that line to gain, and it sure as heck looks like that ball crossed out just past the 10-yard line. So the good news is the Gators do get that stop. They keep the 2-score lead. The less good news is they're back in the shadow of their own end zone where they struggled to move the ball the last time they had it.
Another big play for Jaden Stammer, this time on the defensive end for Gateway with that tackle to force the turnover on downs, and Gateway goes to the ground on 1st and 10 from right around the 10-yard line, and Dan Sear picks up a half a dozen.
I really like seeing Don Hall going to the ground here on 1st down, trying to establish that run. You're up 2 scores late in the 3rd. Even if you don't come away with points on this drive, you'd sure like to see the Gators be able to pick up a few 1st downs here on the ground and at least get to the 4th quarter here with that 2-score lead.
Snap goes a little bit awry. Miller caught the snap and looked left, threw left, and pass was incomplete as Mitchell was looking to that left-hand side.
Just didn't get all that one. Maybe a little flat-footed there. Wasn't able to get the full oomph into that one. Unforced error there that brings up another 3rd down, and you're inside your own 20. Gators looking to try and capitalize after the 4th down stop. Keep this clock rolling.
Play clock down to 3. Mitchell going to tuck and run. Runs right. And then he will be brought down, and 2 flags come in as Mitchell is brought down at around the 15-yard line.
Certainly this might all get nullified. It looked like if Mitchell would have just turned on the jets and tried to get out to the sideline there wasn't much going out there. Instead, he kind of crept back inside.
So it's going to be a holding penalty against Trayshawn Little, the right tackle for Gateway. Taking another look at this one. He had his arms wrapped around the waist of the tackler there, Dom Angelico.
Yeah, pretty cut and dry on that one. Sort of a moot point, though, because the stop was made and brings up 4th down.
So the Wildcats decline the penalty. Gateway brings the punt unit on, and Mikulandrich pressured, gets the ball away, and the ball will get out to around the 43 before it's downed by Gateway. Referee on the spot there, not buying what Mikulandrich was trying to sell on the minimal contact on running into the kicker.
I think the justification might also have been player getting blocked into the punter, which you've seen officials over time get a lot better at differentiating. If a Gateway player blocks a player into the punter, then that contact is not a penalty. So the table's set here. Latrobe in this second half, they've had great field position on all their possessions here. This one, their 3rd of this 3rd quarter, just unable to get it across the finish line here.
Just under 2 minutes to play here in the 3rd frame. As the ball came loose, a little RPO action for the Wildcats, and looked like the quarterback Scarton had considered pulling the ball out of the belly of Akehammer, but then it went down to the turf. Akehammer had to cover it up before Gateway got there, and it's a loss of 1, 2nd and 11.
Akehammer with that heady play slipped a little bit on that grass. Looked like he might slide past the ball, but was still able to land on top of it to minimize the damage. But a loss of a yard here, and Latrobe going backward after getting the momentum with the ball here on the plus side of the field yet again.
2nd and 11, straight drop back for Scarton. And the pass is off the mark. There were 2 Wildcats there and a handful of white jerseys. And Meter was the closest one to the ball, but the incomplete pass brings up 3rd down and 11.
We saw 41 points in that first half, and we have yet to see any points here in this 3rd quarter. Both teams' offense have been kind of stuck in reverse here.
3rd and 11 for the Wildcats.
3rd down 11 for Latrobe. Scarton looking left the whole way. Pressured as he steps up into the pocket. He'll be hit, wrapped, and brought down after a gain of 1 or 2. As he was swallowed up by a handful of Gators, including Roberson Louis-June.
It looks like they're going to pull that offense off the field. Latrobe's defense has gotten a few stops here in this 3rd quarter. They're going to continue to try and play this field position game, pin the Gators deep for a 3rd straight possession. Anytime you got S.J. Moorfield back there waiting, he's liable to bust one wide open. See if he gets a chance to do that here.
Horner catches a wobbly snap and gets away the punt. This one, a knuckler carrying to the far side, and will take a hop in favor of Latrobe, but doesn't get the same bounce he did a couple of punts ago. Ball out of bounds at the 13, where it'll be 1st and 10, and Gateway yet again is backed up inside of their own 20.
Well, and a great job by Horner. That looked like a pretty intentional effort to keep that ball out of the hands of S.J. Moorfield. Getting it down to the 13 certainly is icing on that cake. Either team able to move the ball here in this second half after the Gators certainly lit things up.
Mitchell sending Carter in motion from left to right. He'll settle as a wing on the right. Screen pass complete. Dan Sear picks up the first down and more as he approaches the 30. And aggressive whistles blow, but no flags fly. And it'll be 1st and 10 for Gateway at the 31.
A good job by Dan Sear staying in bounds at the end of that run. Bring us to the end of this third quarter, and just that much less time for Latrobe to try and claw back into this game. A heady play by the junior running back.
Just before we began the third quarter, you saw our upcoming broadcast, and obviously we talked about the Gators taking on the Hempfield Spartans next Friday night in Greensburg. But in December, we move to winter sports. Swimming on December 15th, December 22nd, it'll be wrestling against Avonworth, and then a basketball doubleheader to wrap up 2025 as we look forward to 2026 and more Gator sports here on GatewayGatorProductions.com.
So I think we can all collectively say, my goodness, where is the time gone? It felt like August was 15 minutes ago, but we're already talking about the holidays and hoops. Gators with a head coaching change. Elvis Rogers stepping aside as the coach for the Gators. That's a program that's really found its footing under Rogers. Certainly hope to see that continue.
I've been at some practices setting up for volleyball matches and stuff, and it doesn't seem like the practices have missed a beat. I mean, the rest of the staff is there, just like when Rogers was the head coach. So, you know, it doesn't seem that much different.
Brought down by 24, Aaron Gaskey.
Dan Sear, the ball carrier, picking up
Dan Sear picks up about
4 yards. Gaskey on the tackle.
From the Gateway 35-yard line.
Rogers, 7 years at the helm for the Gators, and you hit the nail on the head. They keep a lot of that staff together. Good continuity.
Handoff to Dan Sear.
Handoff to number 5, Julian Dan Sear.
He'll pick up 3.
Third
and about 4.
Number 26.
And nearly a miscue on the exchange. You saw at the last minute, Mitchell, much like we saw Stanton on the other side for Latrobe, thought about pulling that one back out, and Dan Sear had to stymie some of his momentum just to hang on to that ball. Ends up limiting some of that game.
And Carter motions from right to left, and Gateway's going to be guilty of a false start. So instead of 3rd down and 4, it's going to be 3rd down and 9.
Going to bring up a 3rd and 9 for the Gators.
What they didn't want to get into now, going backwards. Both of these teams just stuck offensively. We saw all these fireworks in the first half. Both teams able to move the ball at different points. Certainly the Gators getting the better of the action with this 13-point lead. Now for the Gators, though, no change is good. Still up by double digits.
Mitchell looking right, throwing right, and somehow threads the needle. Gateway first down, complete to Tyree Gowder.
Really nice throw. And you have to marvel at this chemistry that Mitchell has developed with this receiving core. Coming in midstream as a freshman, taking over for Elvis Kouchakis, who went down second straight season with a lower leg injury. Mitchell has looked every part of a bona fide varsity quarterback out there.
He has really settled into the position well, and he did it quickly. And what's really remarkable is even last week, as the Gators go to the air here on the screen pass, it's complete to Bates, and somehow Bates is able to rumble and bounce off of tacklers and pick up 9 there. But getting back to Mitchell, you know, we talked about him settling in, playing well. You know, he has the physical talent, but you know, his ability to bounce back after 5 interceptions last week and continue to, you know, drive the ball down the field for Gateway. Never went into the tank. Bates, the ball carrier, caroms off of tacklers running right. A second wave gets to him, and he'll be brought down. The ball came loose, and the Wildcats come out of there with it. Rob Young on the fumble recovery. And I'm not 100% sure about this call, because you see Bates here, surges forward, springs right. And at this point, the official on the far side is blowing the whistle and spotting the ball, which is indicative, you probably can see it here, which is indicative of the play coming to an end. But the referee was there, saw the ball squirt loose, probably did not hear a whistle, and Rob Young with the fumble recovery gives the Cats life here in the fourth quarter. Pressure applied to Scarton. Scarton tosses to the 50. And it's a flag down back at the 35-yard line.
Might bail out Latrobe here.
Yeah, I think it's going to be defensive holding against Gateway.
You know, going back to that fumble, you know, getting ready to give Lamont Bates roses after a really strong performance last week and a tough screen reception, and that time, again, able to make a couple guys miss. Tough to bring down, but that's one of those ones where at the end of the day, you got to hang on to the ball. And that was a bang-bang call. Maybe it was a fumble, maybe it wasn't, but if you don't put it on the turf, then it's not an issue.
After the 10-yard penalty, it's 1st and 10 for the Wildcats inside of Gateway territory at the 42. Timeout time for the Gateway defense. They're going to talk defensive strategy, and that gives Latrobe an opportunity to talk defensive strategy, and gives us an opportunity to take a look at the Big East Conference standings coming into today. The Gators found themselves looking up at Armstrong and Kiski. Gateway beating Kiski, losing to Armstrong.
And at last check, Armstrong was down in the first half 21-0 to Penn Trafford, a game in which you would expect the Warriors to win. And that really opens the door, because if Armstrong can't secure a third victory next week, then that means that third position comes down to Gateway and Kiski. Gateway certainly, as we know, has that head-to-head tiebreaker win. If Armstrong does get that third win, then tiebreaker points start to come into become a factor. I don't have all that right in front of me at the moment, but certainly make things a lot more complicated.
To the air go the Wildcats, and the pass intended for Tatch is off the mark. Carlos Diggs on the on the coverage rather for Gateway.
And another one where Scanton just sort of airmailed it, sent it over the head of everyone there. Really hard to overstate just how much this Latrobe offense has struggled on first down to move the ball, whether it be running the ball, passing the ball. It has been incredibly tough sledding for an offense that looked like it was going to pass, you know, its season average pretty quickly, 14 points in that first half, but they have slowed down considerably.
Pass to the right-hand side is caught by Sawyer Butina. Tackle made by Carlos Diggs. And that's shy of the line to gain, brings up 3rd down and 3 after the gain of 7.
Puts Latrobe in a manageable situation in what is absolutely 4-down territory once again on the plus side of the field. And Latrobe's been able to get to this point. They even got the ball into the red zone early in the 3rd quarter, but just haven't been able to finish drives.
Quarterback this time is Wisniewski, and Wisniewski wiggles his way forward for a Latrobe 1st down as he crosses the line to gain and approaches the 30.
Just a few plays away from this one being another electrifying finish. The Gators have played their fair share of close games this year. And for a minute, it looked like the Gators might blow this one open, and heck, they may very well still. But credit to Latrobe hanging in here.
Scarton looking to the left, now looks back to the right-hand side. The pass is incomplete as it was intended for Eli Meter. Coverage on the play by Diggs.
Well defended the whole way around. You see Diggs right there, step for step with the receiver. And another instance where Latrobe unable to make anything happen on 1st down. 2nd and 10 has been where they've been living all night. That's a tough spot to be in if you're going to win football games.
Motion man Tatch. Pressure applied as Scarton looks for Tatch. The pass is incomplete behind the intended receiver. Coverage on the play by S.J. Moorfield.
Just a miss on that one. Not sure if it was a miscommunication or just a bad ball. But puts that behind his receiver, who had a bit of a size advantage there. Might have been able to box out S.J. Moorfield just a little bit to at least make the catch, make it 3rd and manageable. Instead, it's 3rd and long upcoming for the Wildcats.
3rd down 9. Scarton looking left, throwing left. The pass intended for Weeder, incomplete.
Again, quarterback just more often than not tonight hasn't been able to put that ball near his receivers. It's as simple as that. He's had some time to throw, but the throws have just not been good. When your offense has struggled this much up to this point in the season, you wonder what that internal confidence looks like.
Straight drop back. Scarton hit as he releases the football, and somehow down on the field is Meter, pulling that one in for a Latrobe 1st down. That looked like a surefire incompletion.
Tough break, well defended by the Gators. The receiver falls, somehow is still able to make that grab. Really good concentration by Meter, and now Latrobe knocking on the door. Looks like not quite a goal to go situation. Yep, nope, they will drop the sticks now.
Play goes to the right-hand side, and it's a pass completed to Aaron Gasky. And he's brought down at the 5 as the clock continues to wind here in the 4th quarter.
Setting up for potentially another exciting finish here. These two teams played to a 1-point game last year. A missed extra point doomed the Gators in a 28-27 loss. Wildcats see that 27 spot on the board for the Gators. Can they replicate that result again this year?
Toss coming to the near side right is incomplete. Looking for Cochran was Scarton.
That time, just a drop out of the back. Able to get his hands on that one. Not sure if it would have been much of a gain after that catch. Gators had that one pretty well bottled up. So incompletion might actually be somewhat beneficial. It stops that clock at 6:08. Time is certainly of the essence for Latrobe.
Tash, the Wildcat, running right, brought down at the 1 yard line as the Gators are there to make the stop and keep the Wildcats out of the end zone, at least on third down, as Sena Ekbadzi, amongst others, in on the tackle. And again, Tash is going to keep it. Running left. He ain't going to make it. S.J. Moorfield was there. The officials say the ball came loose because Diggs was off to the races, scooping up what could have been a fumble. But regardless, a turnover on downs gives Gateway the ball. But the problem is they're backed up yet again.
More of the same, but I mean, you'll take it. What a great defensive stand. It looked like here, Tash, if he just runs, I don't know, did he have an extra gear, or was that natural grass slowing him down a little bit? Didn't slow down the Gators. They got down the line in a hurry and turned what looked like 6 points into a turnover on downs. A great recovery. Again, let's take a look at this replay. Tash right here. They set the edge. It looks like here he's good, but S.J. Moorfield able to get in there, use that speed to bring the ball carrier down, and a long field again for the Gators.
Official on the far side said that Tash was down. Our replay may disagree with that.
Bang, bang play again. We've seen that a couple times in this second half.
1st and 10 for the Gators from the 1. Hand off. Dancier, does he get out of the end zone? No, he doesn't. It's a safety for Latrobe. 2 points on the board, and they get the ball back too.
If you're the Gators, we talked about wanting to come out and play a second half and where you walk out of the stadium feeling really good about the result. This second half has left a little bit to be desired on that end of things. These are the first points we've seen in the third quarter, fourth quarter, second half overall. The Gators defense has risen to the occasion. They've played lights out here, but the offense has really struggled. And it's worth acknowledging that they have had to contend with having the ball in the shadow of their own end zone. And sometimes you get in your own head about those things. You want to take care of the ball. That time, running the ball out of the shotgun, you see what can happen. If you don't get that push up front, there's nowhere to go, and that time results in 2 points, and now another possession in which Latrobe should end up with pretty darn good field position here.
So a 13-point game turns to an 11-point game. As I said, Latrobe will get the ball here on the free kick by Jackson Michelandrich.
Still a two-possession game. Latrobe's still going to have to score this twice, but a 2-point conversion and field goal will get you there, as opposed to just needing 2 touchdowns outright.
Michelandrich kick carries to the 30, where it's returned by Butina. Butina bouncing off of tacklers, still on his feet. He may go inside the 15 to 10, and he'll cross the goal line. And in the blink of an eye, the Latrobe Wildcats have 8 points on the board, and they could make it 9 or 10 with this point after attempt.
They're going to go for the 2 here, try to make this a field goal game. I agree with that call. And the kick coverage team had been so good for the Gators tonight, and this is just the worst possible moment to have this sort of gaff. And all of a sudden, a game that you felt really comfortable with for much of this second half starting to slip away from you here, and can't overstate enough. This is a must-win game for the Gators. If they do not come up with a victory in this game, you can pretty much call curtains on their playoff aspirations. So it's not like there's not a lot at stake here for both of these teams, but Latrobe understands it as well. At 1-3, with one more conference game next week, they're trying to get to 3-3, keep those playoff hopes alive.
Tash, the Wildcat quarterback, running left. Slides out of one tackle, still on his feet. Does he get in? The official on the far sideline says he does. A 2-point conversion for the Latrobe Wildcats. And in the matter of a few seconds, a safety, a kick return for a touchdown, and a 2-point conversion has turned a Gateway lead from 14 points down to 3.
And you feel the momentum completely swing from one sideline to the other, and now that Gators offense has to go back out here on a slightly cooler night and try and find some momentum here to try and hold off this furious comeback by the Wildcats.
I misspoke there. I meant a 13-point lead down to 3 after 10 points ripped off by the Latrobe Wildcats. But, Vince, this is so reminiscent in what we saw at Penn Trafford a couple of weeks ago. A second half where the Gators came out of the locker room with a 16-point advantage, and the offense didn't put a point on the board and ended up losing that football game.
You just have to wonder what's happening here in the second half. I mean, they were world beaters in that first half. 3 passing touchdowns, a rushing touchdown for Dan Sear to boot. And now it's just been, and the field possession certainly hasn't helped. They've done a really good job keeping that in. As you can see, a kick without that is an onside kick.
The ball squirted through one of the up men. Ireland was there. It slid under his belly. The officials digging the pile out of there. It looked like Latrobe may have gotten it. And it will be Wildcats football. Ireland had a perfect opportunity to cover that one up, and it just wiggled under his belly.
The Gators look absolutely shell-shocked right now. They've got to find a way to dig deep and mentally get past what's just happened and understand you are still leading this football game halfway through the fourth quarter. Your defense has played incredibly well tonight. Push comes to shove. I mean, 2 of the 3 touchdowns for Latrobe have come on a pick 6 and a kick return touchdown. You're still looking at a defense that's only given up 1 touchdown. So you got to find a way to dig deep here, put that all behind you, get a stop here.
And that was a long touchdown by Acamer, 49 yards, 1 big play. Acamer, the ball carrier this time, running right. And he's met in the backfield by Burrows and stumbles his way forward for a gain of about 1 as Jackson Smith was there to clean things up.
These are those moments where your biggest players have to rise to the occasion. So this Gators defense, you look at guys like 55, Roberson Louis-June, 10, Jackson Smith, 22, Michael Burrows, 4, Carlos Diggs. Can they make enough big plays? Can they generate a turnover? That's something we haven't really seen out of this Gators defense tonight. Can they come up with a takeaway?
Acamer running left this time. Able to get his way forward towards the first down marker, but there's a flag back near the 45-yard line on the far numbers, and I think this is going to push the Wildcats back.
Trying to look there on the replay to see if we can see a guilty culprit. 9 times out of 10, you see a flag drop in that area. It's going to be a holding call, and look at the call right here, and it is holding.
Holding against the Wildcats.
So Acamer's personal stats, he gets 4 to his credit.
6-yard line, their own 46.
So the ball will get pushed back shy of the 50-yard line.
A shame for him because that was such a great second effort to be able to bounce off that would-be tackle and make a diving effort to get that first down, but certainly for the Gators, it's a tremendous break.
So 2nd down and 15. A lot of action on that play as the Wildcats hand off. Cochran picks up a couple from the 46 to the 48 as Jackson Smith makes the stop. Also in on the tackle, Tristan Houston.
One thing that might be a saving grace when push comes to shove here for the Gators is just how much this Latrobe offense has struggled to move the ball all season long offensively. They're still going to need more points here. They're obviously not in field goal range. The Gators now with a 3rd and 14. You got a real opportunity to try and get off the field here.
Again, 24 points are on the scoreboard for Latrobe, which is significantly more than they're accustomed to. However, only 7 of them have come offensively.
It's been a weird game in that way. Just an opportunistic Wildcats team that has pounced on the opportunities when they've been there. You talk about that safety a few moments ago, turning an interception into a pick 6, return touchdown right after that safety. For the Gators, defense has done its part, but they need just a little bit more out of this unit. And then from there, you don't need any more points offensively, but what they haven't been able to do tonight, the Gators, is move the ball consistently on the ground. You'd really like to be able to just give this ball to Julian Dancier and ask him to put it away for you. Gators got to be able to get off the field here in what, again, is very likely 4-down territory this late in the game. So if you're Latrobe, you don't need all 14 yards here, but you certainly need to try and get a chunk. Make things a little more manageable if you face a 4th down.
So 3rd and about 14 here for the Wildcats as the pressure is applied. Scarton has to run, and he'll be met by Tristan Houston after a gain of about 4, but a nice open field tackle by Tristan Houston brings up 4th and long for the Wildcats.
Very nice job by Houston. Not over pursuing, giving up a little size there, as you can see, to Scarton, but making just a really nice tackle, bringing him down inbounds as well, making sure that Scarton couldn't get out of bounds, which is honestly a bit of a mistake by the quarterback, not using that size advantage to try and get to the boundary and save some time.
4th down 8 for the Wildcats. Scarton looking right, throwing right, and had a receiver wide open in Sawyer Bettina, but the pass just a little bit too high. Bettina can't get up and get it, and it'll be 1st and 10 on another turnover on downs for the Latrobe Wildcats.
Tough. Scarton has just not had that touch tonight, has really struggled to put the ball where his receivers can make a play, and that one's going to haunt him if the Gators are able to hold on in this game. As you see an injured player, Aaron Gasky, down on the field yet again. Looks like some cramping, so hopefully not anything too serious, but that's going to be one that when they look at film the next day, again, if they come out on the wrong side of this one, the Wildcats are going to be kicking themselves, because there have been so many opportunities here. And a couple of these 4th downs have come on the plus side of the field. This one out around the 47, but we're just a few minutes, removed from Wildcats coming up short on a 4th and 1 goal-to-go situation. Did lead to the safety, but instead of those 2 points, it'd be nice to have had the 6.
G Block representing with 5 kids, but they brought the flag and are cheering on their team. It's not exactly a short trip, 45 minutes away from Monroeville, and I know you were coming from work in Oakland a little later in the afternoon. I was coming from the north side at PNC Park, and it took me about an hour and 5 minutes, leaving at 2 o'clock in the afternoon to get out here.
You get on 22, and it's a lot of stop and start, even if there's not traffic. Got all those lights on the way out. It's a pretty drive, but certainly takes a little bit of time. But the reward at the end of it has been an entertaining game tonight between 2 teams fighting for their playoff lives. A beautiful evening on a beautiful field. We got another exciting finish.
In this stadium, very similar to Gateway High School, sandwiched in between Route 22 and Route 30, just significantly further east. 1st and 10 for Gateway after another turnover on downs for the Greater Latrobe Wildcats as Mitchell sends S.J. Moorfield in motion. And as Mitchell goes down to try to pick up the dropped snap, he puts his knee down on the turf. And that'll back the Gators up, and Greater Latrobe takes a timeout. That'll be their 2nd.
That's one where you just got to focus on getting that cleanly. That's on Mason Mitchell. Got to catch that ball and execute the play. It's as simple as that here late in this one. Everything is magnified in a 3-point game, and so often we've seen the freshman calm, cool, collected, composed, looking the part of someone who's going to have a really productive career here at Gateway, and certainly believe that's going to be the case. But not showering himself in glory on that one. But the good news is he falls on the ball, gives the Gators another opportunity here, does force Latrobe to take that timeout. Both teams now with just 1 remaining. Gators got to get at least 1, if not 2 first downs to really feel good about trying to salt this one away.
After the Latrobe timeout, Gateway goes straight from the sideline to the line of scrimmage on 2nd down and 15 after the fumble recovery by Mitchell. Carter, the motion man from right to left, settles as a wing on the left. Now another motion man is S.J. Moorfield. Throwback screen going to the right for Dancier. Picks up a block and picks up very nice yardage for Gateway inside of Wildcats territory to the 49-yard line. And Greater Latrobe will use its final timeout.
Good job getting the penalty yards and then some back and setting the Gators up in a third down situation that is far more manageable. And I'm not so sure if you come up a little short here that you don't roll the dice and maybe try to go for it here on fourth down. A Latrobe offense that's really struggled to move the ball, and you've got a chance to deliver a death blow here in what's essentially a playoff game for your squad.
Getting back to that screen pass, Vince, so often Gateway runs the screen to the left-hand side. It's good to see them start to balance that out and run it to the right-hand side. And obviously, you know, there's some trepidation there. Craig Schultz has been out for the majority of the season. Trayshawn Little has grown into the position as the season progressed, and you can see him with a nice downfield block there to help get some extra yards for Julian Dancier. And also leading the way from the right guard spot is Sena Egbadzi.
Gators have done a good job on that screen in general tonight of getting bodies downfield quick and giving guys some chance to pick up some of those all-important yards after the catch. And Dancier certainly did his part with the nice blocking in front of him.
Again, Carter settles on the left, and again, S.J. Moorfield motions. Forward pitch to Carter. He gets near the first down marker. The official running in from the far side spots the ball. And the referee comes in, and it looks like he's going to bring the flags on. Now let's see what the sticks have to say. This is so rare anymore. This is something you used to see a lot more. But it's become pretty commonplace here at the high school level for officials to spot the ball at the nearest yard line. But this a more true spot as they'll stretch the chains. And the Gators are inches shy, so it'll be fourth and about a foot.
So now what do you do if you're Don Hall? One side of the coin is, you know, do you trust your offense to essentially advance the ball 12 inches, if that, with the realization that if you come up short, you're giving Latrobe pretty decent field position. But I think you trust your guys here to get a push, move this ball forward, get that much closer to putting this one on ice.
Seeing the offensive line get a good push for the majority of the evening, and I think this is another opportunity for them to do the same here on fourth and less than a yard. Kind of a broken play here. They get the handoff to Dancier, and he will get to the line of scrimmage, surges his way forward. Latrobe doesn't think Dancier got it. I think there was a second surge by Dancier that was enough. The Gators' offensive line is pointing first down.
They have to bring the chain gang in again.
We're going to get another measurement here, Adam.
Let's take another look at this one, as that play really did not work out very well. S.J. Moorfield colliding with Dancier. Moorfield was the motion man. Good surge here by the offensive line. Dancier got in there. And he is shy of the line to gain. They say no gain at all. And a Gateway turnover on downs at the 44.
See, those two offensive players bumping into each other totally stopped the momentum of Julian Dancier, and he had to sort of restart from a full stop, and that gave Latrobe right there the opportunity to recover, and boy, is that close. And now the door is wide open for Latrobe, and the Gators defense, much like against Kiski area, they need one more stop here.
And the pass by Scarton looking for Meter is incomplete. And that brings up second down and 10. Now remember, Vince, Latrobe has used all three of their timeouts. So they enter this drive without the ability to stop the clock, sans clocking the football.
Well, they've got to worry about Scarton getting the ball on target. As this second half has gone on, his accuracy has candidly gone out the window.
Yeah, his last 2 passes have been paltry, to say the least. The most recent one to Meter, and the previous one on the turnover on downs intended to Butina was well high. Scarton looking left, throwing left. Pass is incomplete, looking for Meter. And there's a penalty against the Greater Latrobe Wildcats that's going to push them back 5 yards if it's accepted.
I don't know that I would accept it.
And this is definitely a double-edged sword. Do you want 2nd down and 15, or do you want 3rd down and 10? And Don Hall will accept 3rd down and 10. So it's a formational penalty against the Greater Latrobe Wildcats.
I like that call. I like that call by Don Hall a lot. You've got a quarterback who is struggling mightily. That throw, again, not anywhere close to the intended receiver. I'm forcing that guy to try and beat me here, and so far he's proven he's not going to do it.
Scarton rolling right. Going to toss. And the pass is incomplete. Over the head of one receiver and short of the second. So was it intended for Izzy McMahon, or was it intended for Sawyer Butina? Either way, it didn't find either of them.
Your guess is as good as mine. And this is going to be effectively your ball game here for the Wildcats.
4th down, 10. Scarton looking right. No pressure as he has time. And it is broken up by Gateway's Nazir Diggs. Pass was intended for Butina, and Diggs is there to break it up.
Gators appear like they might have done just enough to get out of Dodge here. We still got a couple minutes to get over and done with. Gators got to hang on to the ball offensively, but a really nice play by Nazir Diggs. That ball was underthrown. Both players are sort of scrapping, trying to come back to it. Sometimes you see some contact in those situations. Diggs did a really good job playing that cleanly, making sure that the penalty flag's coming out. Now, victory formation for the Gators, a very welcome sight after a really frantic second half.
With under 2 minutes to go, the math adds up for the Gators to just take the knee and finish off this football game with a couple of kneel downs by Mason Mitchell, the freshman QB.
And it doesn't always have to be pretty, but the Gators came out this way and got that all-important victory that very much puts them, honestly, if the season ended this week, Armstrong still has another conference game to play, but with them trailing the way they were, very likely going to fall to Penn Trafford tonight, they will end the night, the Gators will, at 3-2 alongside Kiski area that played out of conference tonight against Plum. And right now, that puts the Gators in the 3rd seed at the moment. They're a playoff team right in this precise moment as this clock trickles down to triple zeros. And now they've got to just kind of wait and see next week what Armstrong does. If Armstrong loses, Gators are the 3 seed. If Armstrong wins, and if Kiski wins, Kiski's 3-2, they'll get a crack at it next week. There's still a lot in play here for the Gators. But you needed this win. You had to have it, and they found a way to get it done, even if it wasn't the prettiest in the second half. You rode those 27 first-half points, and you got it done.
Gateway not scoring any points in the second half. Meanwhile, Latrobe doesn't score any offensive points in the second half, but still are able to manufacture 10 total points on a safety, a kickoff return for a touchdown, or a free kick return for a touchdown, and then the 2-point conversion. But it wasn't enough. They kept turning the ball over on downs, and Gateway did just enough to kill the clock and win this football game 27-24 and move their record even to 3-3 in conference play.
They were opportunistic, but they couldn't take advantage of enough opportunities. They're at the death. They had opportunities with the ball in their hands. And one thing came true out of the themes that we talked about in pregame is that this Latrobe team really struggles to move the ball offensively. That was the saving grace, coupled with a really strong performance by this Gators defense. Sound tackling, good coverage. They eliminated costly penalties. And though there was a pick six, going from 5 interceptions last week to 1 this week is a tremendous net positive. Gators took much better care of the ball, so there are some real things. Even though this one got a little close for comfort at the end, there's still some things to really feel good about going out of this week.
And I think the Gateway defense has a lot to really feel good about tonight. They only allowed 1 touchdown. That was a long 49-yard touchdown. Really only 1 sustained drive by Latrobe that ended up with no points. They ended up turning it over on downs at the 1-yard line. That was really the only sustained drive that Latrobe was able to put together tonight. So a big night for the Gateway defense. And like we said, they only allowed 1 touchdown tonight, even though Latrobe put together a 24-point performance.
And in that second half, they spent a lot of time on the field, and they didn't get gassed. They didn't get discouraged when things didn't go their way. They did make that 4th down stop at the goal line. And those are chin strap moments. You got to buckle up and understand that those are some big boy plays, and they made them when it counted the most. That translated into a really, really big win tonight.
Next week, Gateway steps out of classification on the road in Greensburg to take on the Hempfield Spartans. And, that's A, a game for pride, and B, may, work to the Gators' advantage if they're able to get the victory as far as playoff seeding goes, because like you said, as of this moment, Gateway's in the playoffs.
Well, and I'll argue with the wild card criteria being now so subjective and totally in the hands of the committee, that's your last impression to leave on the folks that might be deciding your fate if the Gators fail to capture one of those top 3 seeds based off of how Kiski and Armstrong play next week against their respective opponents in conference play. And so it would really behoove of the Gators to go out, put together an impressive performance, and if nothing else, capture 1 more pivotal victory. Sitting at 4-6 instead of 3-7, it's a big difference.
And don't forget, it may not even come down to the wild card. It may be the fact that, Gateway does clinch one of the automatic seeds, but a victory against Hempfield puts them in a better position and a better seeding in the playoffs as well.
Takes you from potentially a 5-12 matchup where you have to go to a place like Upper St. Clair with a team that's really well put together this year, and maybe you catch a Penn Hills team that's having a bit of a down year, and you get an opportunity to play a little closer to home or just have that much better of a matchup. I think 5A is really top-heavy this year, and then after maybe those top 5 teams, it's kind of a logjam after that point. So if you can avoid having to play one of those top 5 teams in the first round, certainly you give yourself a puncher's chance to win a playoff game.
The Latrobe Wildcats see their record fall to 2-7 on the year, while the Gateway Gators see their record improve to 3-6 on the season. But more importantly, Gateway is now 3-3 within the Big East Conference with this 27-24 victory over the Greater Latrobe Wildcats here at Latrobe Memorial Stadium. I want to thank our entire crew. Great work yet again by everyone. We hope you tune in next week. For my broadcast partner, Vince Russo, I'm Adam Gusky. We'll talk to you as the Gators take on the Spartans next Friday night.